Okay, quickly, non-spoiler review. The movie that I saw, Obsession, finally I got to see it a month and a half later, and still there's strong word of mouth for this movie because the theater was still 80% full, a lot of younger crowd, and rightly so. This movie, I think, would be one of the best in terms of horror. It's doing its numbers, as you can see, some crazy 300 plus percent profit. And the performances, my gosh, like it's Oscar worthy. I don't use that lightly, especially the character Indy Navarrete, I think the actress name is, who plays Nikki. She carries this movie. She is brilliant. And the other main character, Michael Johnston, played by Michael Johnston. Again, amazing actors. They have a very, very small number of people that you need to know in this movie, and yet all of them do their job because of the performances, because of some very, very inspired, I would say, writing and directing by Kari Baker, I believe, or Barker. It's incredible. Yes, watch it. Now, do you need to watch it in the theaters? Not necessarily. If it comes in OTT, you've got a good screen and you've got good audio. This is still worth watching at home because this is not about large wide shots or cinematic shots at all. It's more of an intimate movie, but it works except for the ending. I mean, the ending made me not love this movie and not just rave about it. I would say it was good up until the ending. I absolutely hated the way it ended. Now, stick with me if you want to know why, especially if you've seen the movie. I'll get into a bit more of a spoiler thing towards the second half of this video. Now, spoiler alert, let's talk about that ending. I did not like that ending. The movie till there was great. The music was fantastic, right? Like there was a sustained minor note that was playing throughout. Like there was moments of silence, but also tense moments. And I think this movie really works because of the way the music director inserted certain sounds, twisted sort of some melodies. Again, a lot of these minor dark notes bleeding in to the scenes. I thought that was brilliant. I really enjoyed the music and the sound design that really works. I think this director was able to extract as much from his actors, from his technicians, the writing, screenplay, everything without having a huge budget. He was able to create, I'm using that word again, organic tension just from the situation and primarily from his actors and performances. Now, I hated that ending. I hate movies that, this is just me. You could have a different opinion, but I don't like it when movies, yes, it can be horrific, it can be nightmarish, dark, all of that I understand, but leaving the audience on such a tragic, dark, sort of cut off tone, right? Unsettled. If you like movies like that and ending on that note, you do you, right? But for me, it felt like a beautiful four-course meal, and then you get towards the end and you sort of bite this bitter, weird taste that just sort of fills your mouth, right? And sometimes I always say that the last impression is probably going to be the lasting impression. And for me, that's what stopped me from loving this movie, although I liked it. Now, moving into again deeper, I would say, watch the movie like Weapons. Right? This movie reminded me a lot of Weapons from the situation, from the way it's directed. It's more intimate. You're wondering what's going on. There's a huge mystery behind, wait, what is going on? How are they going to resolve it? There's a lot of nightmarish situations for sure. Some huge shockers, some like, whoa, moments that you'll sit back. But I liked Weapons a little more because of the ending. There was a resolution. I don't want directors to think that, oh, just giving a resolution is so cliche. I disagree. I think if you're going to get the audience invested in your main character, you do want to see eventually, right, a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't like movies where it's like, nope, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. This is just pure tragedy. I'm sorry. And then you're going to leave the audience with screams while the credits are going up. I'm talking about Obsession. Again, I thought that was super dark, super tragic. How would I like an alternate ending? I think Bear, the main character, we care about him. Yes, he's been through some nightmare. Maybe he made a quote unquote mistake by wishing something he didn't really realize what he was getting into. Give us a resolution. Yes, there's a possibility that he must die, but that's a horrific possibility, right? So let him and his friends sort of go on this journey to figure out an alternate, right? Save Nikki. And then once they do, the characters sort of evolve, the relationships change, and maybe we can have that final last minute conversation between Nikki and Bear where they're open and honest, and maybe they walk away thinking, you know what, it's just better to keep things as they are and just be honest with each other. That could have been the takeaway rather than that ending that we got. Till then, I was absolutely enjoying this movie along with the entire audience. I just love it when the audience laughs when the director wants you to laugh, right? There was nervous giggle because it is a horrific situation, but there's also a lot of situations that people can connect to, particularly if you've had an obsessive partner, right? So I loved the whole, making a horror situation out of maybe situations that people have experienced already, particularly between couples. So I thought that was brilliant. It really worked because people were chuckling or laughing in certain moments, but we were also scared at the same time. And that, I don't know how many movies have done that. There's a lot of horror movies that play on the comedy side as well, and it's never worked for me because I'm like, wait, if you're going to make stupid jokes, then that's going to take the horror out of it, right? And so neither the jokes nor the horror work for me in those movies that try to be these comedy horror. It hasn't. Here, the comedy is not in your face. It's just situational, right? It's just the shock, the surprise, the eeriness of it, the absurdity of it. Those things make the audience laugh, but at the same time, there were some shocking moments, some whoa moments, some moments that you really will make you sit back in your seat, particularly because of the sound design, but also, like I said, the performances and the visuals. So all of it was great, but that ending, oh my gosh, I know I've been ranting about it. I just don't like it when you walk out of the theater with that sort of unsettled, unresolved note after watching something for nearly 2 hours. But it is a great movie. I think it's still possibly worth watching in theater if you can swallow that bitter pill towards the end. Thank you for staying till the end of this review. Stay back for more.